Hey guys, my name is Megan White. I'm a Star Diamond coach, and I wanted to talk to you tonight about goals. We are going to jump right in because I got a lot of information to share with you, a lot of great tips, and we're going to talk about how to set goals, how to break down each goal that you set, and then how to set yourself up to make those goals reality and to crush them. So we are going to jump right in at the very end of this video. I want you to take about 10 to 15 minutes and do some of this work that I am sharing with you, and take the time while it's fresh in your brain and while you have all the information and the momentum and the motivation and you have some of those goals floating around in your brain. Take the time, pen to paper, and do some of the work. And that is just going to help to intensify the power of your intention behind the goals and allow you to visually see what you're working towards and how to get there and what to do in order to achieve those goals. So number one, we're going to talk about how to set goals. So I don't know about you, but I've never been a goal setter. I've never taken the time really to, prior to coaching, to becoming a Beachbody coach, I was never prepped and shown and taught how to set goals so that I didn't feel like, overwhelmed and like I was failing at everything because I didn't reach those goals. It just wasn't a part of growing up. They were never really talked about. And one thing that, since becoming a coach, one thing that really helped my business and so many other coaches' business is when Shalene wrote her book, Push. And in that book, she shares, it's just, if you've never read it, let alone gone through her 30-day push training, which is all online. You can do it all in their videos that you can do at your own pace. I think it's 30daypush.com, or go to shalenejohnson.com. You can find it there or Google it. But she talks about just changing your habits, your diet, your life, your priorities, getting your priorities in check, organizing your time so that you're not feeling like you are just scattered and you're not sure what you're working towards and your life feels out of whack. So if you've never gone through that book, I really encourage you to do so. But that is where I learned most of this stuff. So obviously it's not the full 30-day training. These are going to be very quick, very short tips. And hopefully you walk away with some nuggets of information, enough to get you going, enough to get you in the right mindset, in the right pathway to setting your goals and then working towards those goals. So number one, how to set goals. Set SMART goals, S.M.A.R.T. So the S stands for specific. So who, what, where, when, how, and why. So you have to be able to narrow down your goals so much that you can identify exactly the definition of that goal. So saying, I want to, be able to fit into my pre-pregnancy jeans next year. That's not very specific. I don't remember what size I was. I don't have a time frame. I don't have a who, a what, a when. So make sure that your goals are very specific. Number two, the M is measurable. So how will you know when you're going to achieve it? How will you know when you're going to reach it? So if your goal is not measurable, then it's going to be very hard to understand what it's going to take and how long it's going to take for you to reach that goal. It'd be very unrealistic for me to say, I'm going to be a 10-star diamond by the end of this year. that's, to me, it's not very realistic in my brain, and it doesn't fit in line with my priorities. So how will you know when you've reached it? At what point do you know, okay, I fit into a size 4 or a size 6. I fit into my pre-pregnancy jeans, and I can now say I'm a size 4, and it is the beginning of summer. It's June 1st. So I know that I will have reached that goal because I made it measurable. The A is for attainable. Is it realistic to you? Is it realistic to your lifestyle, your priorities? Like I mentioned, the 10-star. That's not realistic to me. It's not, therefore it's not attainable. And therefore, I probably would be overwhelmed trying to work towards that, and I would more than likely not work for it. So, is it realistic? R is relevant. How does this fit into your life right now? Is the goals that you're setting, are they relevant to your life right now? Again, with that example, working to 10-star or whatever, I'm having a baby in April. So I know I'm going to be taking off a lot of time after that baby. Fortunately, with this business, I'm able to. And I know that setting that goal is not going to be relevant to my life and my priorities at that time. And then T is time bound. So what's your deadline? When are you going to achieve that goal? When do you want to achieve that goal? That kind of goes back to the measurable. How will you know when you've reached it, and when do you want to reach it? So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Okay, so that's going to be kind of your formula for setting your goals. Now, like I said, at the end of this video, I want you to take the time to do this, but you're going to write out 10 crazy, big, scary goals. Maybe you already do this, but I want you to do it again, because Shalene advises that you do it every single week. You write down, without looking at your previous goals, you write down 10 goals that you have. Now, they can be health and fitness related, they can be business related, they can be career outside of Beachbody related, family related, personal goals, whatever is important to you, whatever you want to achieve in order to feel your best, your happiest, your most fulfilled, financial goals, whatever that is to you, that's your goals, and that's what you need to write down. So 10 crazy, scary, big goals. Almost like this would be super cool if nothing would get in my way and I was able to achieve this goal and all the stars aligned. What would I want to happen, right? If I knew I couldn't fail, what would I want to happen? So I want you to take some time to think about this at the end of the video, and just know that nothing that you dream to achieve, nothing that you think that you can't achieve is off limits. So no goal should be something that you also can't control, right? In the next 12 months, in the next 6 months, it would be so cool if this happened. Like I said, financial, health, relationships, personal, time, happiness. Maybe it's just taking a goal of, maybe it's just writing down a goal of, I want to take 10 minutes every single day to meditate. You know, that's something that is up to you. So what that does, writing down your goals, putting pen to paper, getting it out of your brain and on paper, first of all, that takes your personal accountability one step further, right? We don't really care if we let ourselves down. I mean, some people do if you have that personality type, but most of us don't care if we let ourselves down. We care if we let other people down. So personal accountability is also very important, but taking it one step further and actually getting it on paper, that is going to intensify, like I said, the power of your goals every time that you sit down and write those out. Because it's almost like, okay, now I'm not just thinking about it and wishing and hoping and wondering if it's going to happen. I'm putting it on paper. So that's one step closer to it happening. And write down your 10 goals, okay? And you're going to do that at the end. So you have your goals written out, right? You have 10 goals to start with. How are you going to, where are you going to start to achieve them? How are you going to achieve them? What do you need to do in order to kind of, what Shalene calls it, reverse engineer your goals, break down your goals in another sense. What you're going to do is you're going to brain dump, and you're going to put all of your ideas, all of your thoughts, your suggestions, your plans, anything that has to do with your goals, okay? Let me backtrack real quick. Out of those 10 goals, I missed this step, and this is very important. Out of those 10 goals, what is that one goal that is going to be what Shalene calls your push goal? That's the goal that is going to help all the other goals fall in place. Okay? So my examples are old from when I did her 30-day push, but your push goal is almost like what it is, what it says. It's the goal that is going to help the dominoes all fall down. Okay, so once you hit that push goal, everything else is going to fall into place, and you're going to start hitting and achieving the rest of your goals. Most of the time, that's a financial goal of some sort. It doesn't always have to be, but most of the time it is. So from that push goal, that one push goal, you are going to brain dump everything that you can think of to make that goal happen. So, for example, this was my goal a year or two ago, to be 2-star diamond, because that was my push goal. That was going to help all my other goals fall into place. So I wrote down everything I could possibly think of that had to do with what I needed to do in order to become a 2-star. Now, that was anything from making business cards to wear and share more, to opening a like page, to shake party, to social media training, how many invites I'm doing, building a list of contacts outside the company, training, everything, before and after pictures, success stories, everything I could possibly think of. And I just wrote it all down here, okay, if you can see that. And that's going to allow you to know how to organize and categorize your topics of what you need to do in order to get to that push goal and achieve that push goal. Okay, so I'm going to show you another visual of what I did probably a couple years ago now. Okay, so from my push goal, if you can see this, okay, so I wrote my top 10 goals. Here's my 10 goals. I wrote my push goal, okay, and then I wrote my short-term goals. So these are my 10 long term, which is 12 months, my push goal, and then I wrote my 6-month goals so that I could visually kind of break down where I was at throughout the year. Okay, so from my push goal, I categorized my brain dump into sections. So push goal, task, list, to do. Prospecting, here's all my prospecting brain dumps. For example, networking, monthly challenge groups, a certain amount of success stories every month, how many new conversations every day, challenge group wrap-ups, spreadsheet of prospects and customers, plan of action to prospects and coach leads, how many people I'm going to put the business in front of every month and every week, my free accountability groups, my 5-day groups, weekly newsletter, anything that I could think of that had to do with prospecting, okay? Then my team. So this all had to do with everything that had to do with my team as far as push groups, push to Emerald, push to Diamond, coach apprentice groups, GSRs, welcome emails, videos, goal lists, 3-way calls, attending other coaches' shake parties, new coaches shadowing my challenge groups, everything, survey to the team, just suggestions on, recognition, leadership advice, things like that, monthly team call, how many business trainings I wanted to host every month that would fit in line with my priorities and still allow me to work towards that goal. Okay, then it was customers. So my brain dump, everything that had to do with my customers. Customer thank yous from the 5-day groups, touching base with them, following up with all of those customers that were in my 5-day groups, follow-up sheet, document, customer programs, so like an Excel document, what their goals are, what products they've tried, successes that they've had in the past, what have they liked best, what results and experience have they had so far, check-ins, monthly check-ins with your customers, anything that had to do with customers. Then it was leadership and personal development, which is one of the vital behaviors and one of the most important. So here's where I put in all of the Beachbody events. I put in outside training, so some of Shalene Johnson's events, Danny Johnson's events, one personal development book a month, or however many you want to read, in a month. The books that I actually wanted to finish, how many trainings, coach trainings, and then outside business trainings or coach leadership trainings I wanted to watch a week. Any other coaches trainings, like Mindy Wender's coach apprenticeship group, or Christina Sullen's coach apprenticeship group, or just for example, Christine Dwyer has a really great YouTube video up right now that she posts training videos on. But anything outside of what I was already doing that I wanted to watch, I wrote that down, okay? And that was all leadership and personal development. So I categorized, which I encourage you to do so that you can feel so much more organized, and just, once you complete those items of your brain dump, you can just check them off, and you're working towards something. That you're not just doing busy work and not getting anywhere. And then you don't feel that pressure to all of a sudden have to produce because you're not sure where the heck you're at or what you're even accomplishing, right? So that's just kind of a simple little organizational tip that I can give you when you brain dump. Now, after you write out your 10 goals, you find that one push goal that's going to make all the other goals kind of fall into place. Then you're going to brain dump, and then you're going to categorize based on what you dumped out. Okay, so the last one is number 3. How are you going to set yourself up to achieve these goals? I'm talking mindset, environment, setting yourself up to succeed versus setting yourself up to fail. Number 1 is your mindset, right? What is that one thing that ultimately controls what we do? It's our mindset. It is what we're telling ourselves every day, what we're thinking every day, what we're feeding our brain every single day, what's coming in our ears and in our hearts and in our souls. What are we becoming consumed with mentally, right? Your mindset is something that is so easily tweaked and persuaded and compromised that it's sometimes hard to know how to control that. And you do that through personal development. When you stay plugged in and you stay connected to other people who are motivating and uplifting, the community of coaches that we have, our team pages and other outside pages, when you stay connected that way to personal development, you are feeding your brain. You are reigniting your passion, your belief, your enthusiasm, your confidence in what you're doing. And even just the smallest little thing can make your mind, flip that switch and can make your mind do a 360. So personal development is so easy or so important to plug into personal development. Think of your mind as your cell phone battery that we are, your cell phone that we are so connected to and can't live without. It's glued to our hands. You have to charge your phone every night or it's not going to operate every day. It's not going to turn on. It's not going to function. It's not going to perform at its best, right? Your brain is the same way. Your mind is the same way. You have to continue every day to feed and nurture and fill back up your mindset with positivity and encouragement and support from other people and from personal development. I have all my books up on my shelf here. And it seems so tedious and it's like, oh, I don't need to do that. But it makes the world a difference. And any coach will tell you that that is true. Number 2, you have to get organized. So I guess the best way that I can, the best tip I can give you for getting organized is making a schedule. Now, if you don't know when you're working your business, what hours you're working your business, what days you work your business, if you don't have a set schedule, you are going to feel like, A, you're always working and you're not getting anywhere. You're going to feel like, B, you are doing so much and you're not seeing the return on your investment. And then you're going to think you're wasting your time. And really, you are wasting your time, but it's not because you're not qualified to be a coach. It's just because you're not organized and focused on the time that you are spending. So I suggest getting one of these big calendars. I have to see it to believe it and do it. So I need like a visual. I don't do the calendars on my phone or my computer. I have to be able to write it down pen to paper. So for me, it is getting a big calendar at the start of the week. I have my planner that travels with me upstairs and downstairs and out the door and things like that. But this is something when I sit down at my work area, which if you don't have a work area, you have to get one so that even if it is a spot on your couch at a certain time, when you are a spot where you're least distracted and you can actually physically get work done without just sitting on Facebook and scrolling around like that's your job, because that's not your job. It's a part of what we do, but that's not what's going to help you crush your goals. So I get a big calendar at the start of the month. I write down challenge groups I have going. I write down any groups I have opening, if I'm going to be gone on vacation or take a trip, if I am going to be potentially signing up a new coach, like when am I going to have time to, when am I going to send when are we going to do the GSR possibly? I write down all of my family's stuff that we have going on first. That's my number one thing. I write down all of our family stuff. Then I write down like my personal stuff, so any appointments or anything like that we have. And then it's Beachbody. Then it's anything that has to do with Beachbody I write down on my calendar. Okay, so I can see visually, and this gives me such a nice view of the month, so that I don't feel scattered and out of control and like, what am I doing and what am I working towards, and what day is it today, right? So you have to get organized, okay? And then that's going to allow you, number 3, to work smarter and not harder. If you're feeling like you are running around with a chicken with your head cut off, it's because you, A, don't have any goals that you're working towards, so you don't know what you're working towards. You're just working because that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're just scrolling on Facebook and inviting people to your challenge groups because that's what you're supposed to do, right? If you feel like that, it might be because you are sitting down to work, but it's just busy work. You're not actually doing the vital behaviors that you need to do, which is being a product of the product, inviting, and following up, and then your personal development. So if you feel like you're so scattered and unorganized and you're not quite sure where to start, first of all, you got to set your work hours. You have to work smarter and not harder. If you have 1 hour from 12 to 1, your lunch hour, or let's just say you get up an hour earlier or a half hour earlier and you split your power hour into two parts of your day. You get up at 6 o'clock, you have to be getting ready for work at 7, so you get up at 6, you sit down and you go through your power hour, okay? You look at your big calendar, you figure out what you need to do that week or those next couple days, or just, that day of something, if you have a group opening tomorrow or whatever, what do you need to do that's most important within that power hour? Now, everyone's power hour might look a little bit different, but if you only have a half hour, you get done what you need to get done in that half hour. You get off Facebook, you quit scrolling, you do the behind the scenes work, right? You do that unglamorous, inviting and messaging privately and things like that, following up, not playing on Facebook, right? So you're going to work smarter, not harder. You have to intentionally set your time, intentionally set your agenda for what you want to get done in that power hour, okay? That's going to help you to feel a lot more scattered, right? A little bit more organized, and you're going to allow yourself to not feel pressured and overwhelmed when you're working towards your goals, okay? So just to recap real quick, I know this was a lot of information, so feel free to replay this and rewatch it, but just to recap, you're going to set SMART goals, S-M-A-R-T. You're going to set, get me a little notepad here. You're going to set specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals, okay? Number 2, you're going to break down your goals. You're going to get your list of 10. You're going to find that one goal that if you crush that goal, all the dominoes are going to fall into place. Then you're going to brain dump, and you're going to write down all the things that you can think of. Get it all out of your head and onto paper. Okay, categorize them if you want. It helps me. And then number 3, you're going to set yourself up to succeed. You're going to set yourself up to crush them. You're going to get your mind right. You're going to get organized, and you're going to work smarter and not harder. So take a few minutes after this video to write out your goals, find your push goal, and then start brain dumping. And if you have any questions, post below. Hope this video helped, and we'll talk soon.